All right, guys, so in Biden's America, in the Democrat blue states that are pushing vaccine mandates like New York City, we have people fighting each other over showing their vaccine passport. And we have this happening at places like restaurants and bars that are required to ask customers for proof of vaccination in order to allow people to use their inside services. Okay, now there was a brawl that went viral of 3 black women getting in a fight with a hostess at one of the restaurants in New York City. And this got national news media attention because the black women are saying that they actually were racially profiled, okay, and that this restaurant was using the whole vaccination proof thing as an excuse to racially profile them, to not let black women eat at the restaurant. Now, these women got arrested and charged after this happened. Now, the original story was that they showed up and that they couldn't provide proof of vaccination, or they were struggling to provide proof of vaccination, and that's when the brawl ensued. Now, these women are saying that the hostess used racial slurs. Now, the updated version of the story basically says that these women did have proof of vaccination. However, 3 men tried to join them, and those men are the ones that had trouble showing proof of vaccination. Those 3 women came back to join those men, right, when they was having trouble getting in, and that's when the brawl broke out. Okay, so that's the updated version of the story. And now, because of these women's allegations that they were being racially profiled, BLM has decided that they're going to protest this New York City restaurant where the women were allegedly denied services due to a lack of vaccination proof and were racially profiled. So now BLM has come out to speak on this. And I found this story to be absolutely fascinating because in this case, guys, BLM could be a useful taunt, right? They could be some useful idiots in regards to bringing attention to the fact that these vaccine passports are creating division in this country. It is dividing people in this country. Okay, so again, I found this story to be absolutely fascinating. So let's read here. 3 Texas women were filmed allegedly attacking a Carmine's restaurant hostess after she asked for their vaccination proof after saying that they were racially profiled and were called the N-word during the incident. According to the Daily Mail, the trio, all of which are black women, are now calling for the 23-year-old Asian hostess to be fired from her job, alleging that she was, in fact, the aggressor. The hostess was taken to the hospital following the incident with minor injuries, with police arresting 20-year-old Tayani Kashay Rackins, 44-year-old Katea Nkinje Rackin, and 49-year-old Sally Rochelle Lewis, and charging them with misdemeanor assault and criminal mischief. Following the altercation, Hawk Newsome, co-founder of Black Lives Matter New York, said the organization plans to hold a protest on Monday in response to the incident. In an Instagram post on Sunday, Newsome said that the group would be holding a press conference and a rally at the Broadway location of Carmine's. On 9/16, 3 black women were called the N-word by a white hostess when they were assaulted and arrested by the NYPD. Carmine's used a vax card as an excuse to disrespect and arrest black women, the Post states. All right, so this is the Post, right? They're planning a little rally here. The Texas civil rights lawyer Justin Moore told the Daily News, this hostess clearly has some anger management issues, and unfortunately her aggression and violence led to something that 3 black women are being punished for. Carolyn Richmond, a lawyer for Carmine, denied the accusation from the Texas woman, stating, any claim that they were racially profiled is a complete fabrication, disingenuous, and outright irresponsible. In a statement Friday, Moore said that the hostess refused service to these women and got hostile with them. The injuries that she received were incurred by her being physically restrained by other staff at Carmine's after she was called out for racial discrimination, which she took offense to, Moore said. Moore said that the trio was leaving the restaurant when someone called them the N-word, and they claimed the hostess lunged at Rackin. The hostess is apparently poorly trained to deal with patrons and has obvious issues with black women and has a disregard for women of color, Moore said. The New York City restaurant reportedly asked for proof of vaccination as a part of the city's vaccine passport program in which customers must show proof of the shot before entering. The restaurant had reportedly just recently begun enforcing the policy despite going into effect citywide on August 17th. The CEO of the restaurant group, of which Carmine's is a part, identified only as Bank by the Daily Mail, said the hostess offered the ladies outdoor seating when they did not provide their proof of vaccinations. We follow laws, Bank said at news conference outside the restaurant. I respect the vaccine mandate. We have an option. If you're not vaccinated, sit outside. Quote, it's ridiculous. She's sitting here saying, please don't assault me. It's surreal, Bank said at the press briefing. Following the assault, Bank said there will be security at the host stand on Friday. Of course, we're going to have security tonight. Bank said, we want everyone to feel safe. It is necessary. I don't know. But after last night, I'm sure we're going to have it. Okay, so here's my thing. I have no clue whether or not this hostess used the N-word or said anything that was racially insensitive to these women. I have no clue whatsoever. But what I do know is that if the vaccine mandates were not in place, right, this wouldn't happen. Because this restaurant obviously doesn't want to enforce this policy because they just did it, right? They just put the policy into effect despite the fact that the state had mandated it before that, right? So they just did it, which means they was hesitant to do it in the first place. So they didn't want to do it. They were forced to do it. And now it has caused an altercation that has put one of their employees in danger, right? Caused them to get hurt. Again, I don't know whether or not she used the N-word or not, or whether or not she used a racial slur. I don't know any of that stuff. What I do know is that this mandate has caused a lot of tension and division in this country. It has caused a lot of controversy. This is the type of stuff that you're going to continue to see because this policy is inherently discriminatory. It is. And what happens is that when people get discriminated against, they're going to find all types of reasons to say why they're being discriminated against. Okay, they're going to use race, they're going to use sex, they're going to use gender, they're going to use all that. So this is just what you have to deal with. This is now what restaurants have to deal with because of these Democrat governments overreaching. Now they have to deal with this. So BLM is obviously going to try to go the race route with this and try to say, well, you know, this is because the hostess was racist and they're just using the vaccine mandate as an excuse to cover up their racism. When, you know, I really kind of hope that they really talk about how this whole mandate in general is discriminatory, right? And I hope that that's the route they go. I hope they make themselves useful idiots in this situation. If BLM starts protesting about this, right? Like imagine if across the country BLM is like, oh, this vaccine passport, this stuff is discriminatory. We shouldn't have this. You know, black people being discriminated against. If they start saying that, how would the Democrats be able to respond? What would they be able to say? Right? What would they be able to say after they spent all last year supporting everything that BLM wanted? They support everything that BLM wanted. If BLM comes out against these vaccine passports, that presents an interesting problem for the left. Presents an interesting problem. But we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective.